I've been fixated on the Olympics and watching those great swimmers and the great gymnasts. And the sport has really opened up. And when I saw the gymnasts that won the Olympics, I look and I said, my God, we are opening up. And the reason I said that was that it doesn't look the way it used to look before. When it comes to a sport like gymnastic, which requires income and stuff, if you're going to devote that to it, that was a sport then relegated to the upper classes, right? And we know that the upper class in the gay days pretty much meant white. And when I looked at that stage, I said, wow, we had one, two, three, an Asian American, an African American, and an Afro Brazilian were the top three. And by the way, this isn't taking away anything from absolutely anybody, but what it did for me is that it said, everybody given a chance, not a guarantee to succeed at whatever they do. This happened to have been in gymnastic, but succeed in everything if you just open the door, get rid of the stereotypes, etc., and you watch it happen. You take a look at women's basketball in America. And we know the stereotypes about basketball, etc. And then you have a Caitlin come out and really excel and did so great in basketball, not the stereotypical top line basketball that we have relegated us to believe in. When we allow people the opportunity to excel without regards to who they are, what they are, ethnicity, or whatever, it just shows you what happened. You don't get manufactured excellence. You actually just get excellence. And that's what all of us who preach things like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's all we're saying. Everybody have equal access to success. And then success will look like who you are, the population at large. And for those who fear that they're losing something by being inclusive, you're just making a better America, a better world. When everybody knows that if they go out there and just work hard. When Caitlin Clark went out there and bust her butt, she didn't say, I am going to look in the mirror first to see if this is what I should be. When we have Simone Biles going out there, she didn't have to look in the mirror and say, does this fit me? I want us to look at that reality. I want you to look at corporate America. But when I wrote the book, Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man, the reason I wrote it is my introduction into corporate America. The woman who liked my work when I went for the interview, she just immediately hired me as a senior software engineer at NL. And my introduction to corporate America was the VP of the division calling me into his office and saying, I don't know why Pat likes you so much, but I'm going to tell you something. You have 6 months to prove yourself or you're out of here. And I don't want to hear a damn thing about affirmative action. That was my entry into corporate America. And I also knew that everybody who saw me working as an engineer at NL, the first thing on their minds was that some sort of a quota hire? These things on the mind that isn't strong can have psychological impacts that's not warranted, that not all of us have to carry. And America has been ascending. America has been growing. America has been atoning. We got Obama, but then we got Donald Trump, who just couldn't let it happen, who just wouldn't let goodness happen, who went into the utter fears of Americans who thought that having people have equal access to success took away something from them. That is what we're living through. When we look at those that support Donald Trump, there are many people that have many reasons why they will support a misogynist, why they will support somebody that grabs women by their you-know-what, why they'll support somebody that they know lie like no one else, why they'll support somebody that steals from charity, while they'll support somebody that stifles the working class who've done work for them, why they will do all these, why they will still support this person. What inside of your soul, what within you who know quite well that had someone like an Obama had several baby mamas, stolen, grabbed onto women, raped women, did all these things. You know within your heart that if an Obama had done that, that hell, if a Biden had done that, it would never have been accepted, or no one would think you could come close to the White House. For those who said, I am forgetting all of that for economic reasons, and then you look at your 401k, and your 401k is exploding past what it did under a Donald Trump. For those who have lost family members to COVID because he hid the severity of COVID, and with that caused the thousands of deaths, because by hiding, COVID doesn't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It just knows it attacks an immune system. Innate fear of what it means to look like America, or innate fear. We still support someone like a Donald Trump. I tell you something, I've been talking for a long time that America would wake up, America would atone. As we fixated on an Agent Biden, as we fixated on that and said, oh my God, the guy looks old, the guy looks frail. That's what they wanted you to fixate on, your fears and an old man. But as we were able to take away that from the equation, what I said would come to pass started to come to pass. You look at the polls, they're a changing. If you look at America starting to think about a future, it's starting to happen. And if you take a look at what Donald Trump did at the National Association of Black Journalists, if you take a look at how he responded to the release of the prisoners yesterday, you understand what an implosion looks like when America starts to look inside for its own goodness. When it starts to say, we've got to get out of this false rage and start looking forward. Because right now, Donald Trump is a sick man. His hate comes from how he was reared. He didn't have a good life. It shows you that billions doesn't give you happiness. Billions, and by the way, he ain't no billionaire. So having grown up with the semblance of having money doesn't give you anything if you don't have deep within the happiness of having the love of others, having the love of family, love of friends, love of all these things. And having that as the standing bearer who's going to make policy for you is what destroys you. Is what destroys you. So it's starting to happen. America is starting to feel afresh, and good for America. Because I tell you, loving is much better than hating. Watching the cream float is much better than having the curd just spread and become. So folks, with that, my rant of the morning, but I just have a great feeling. Watching the Olympics, watching the hugs, watching people revere in each other's success, irrespective of who they are, going to Paris as Americans and winning as Americans. Wow, it's a beautiful thing. And what we see in the Olympics is what we should see in the boardrooms, in the shipyards, and everywhere else. Let us have equal access to success. Let's have diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's all be woke, because woke means you're awake. And if you're awake, it means you can learn. And if you can learn, it means we can all succeed.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.